they'll lynch you. But he did, and he laughs.
You are a different cat. You're a different cat of fish.
Hi everybody, Russ from the West End Network. Hope you are all safe and well. If you're new and give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a bloody good subscribe. Hope everyone is safe and well. Me and Anton jumped on very early, about 10:30 today, as the news broke that we're going to have a new sporting director. We have a new sporting director from the 2nd of January. You may have heard of him. He was around, yeah, you may have heard of him, Mark Noble. So Mark is officially unveiled as our sporting director. Not officially until the end of the year, beginning of next year. So when the players get back after the new year. So yeah, great. And me and Anton came on and spoke a bit more in detail about what we thought it would mean to the club, what we thought it would mean to Mark, that type of thing. So go back and check it out. Also tonight, hopefully 9 o'clock UK time, we have got Don Hutchinson, Deadly Don, doing a live My Hammers 11 where you can come on and ask questions and we will pose them to Deadly Don, as well as finding out his My Hammers 11. Quite interesting, because obviously he was one of those boomerang players when he left and came back, and very much in two different eras. One with sort of the Harry Redknapp era, kind of just as we'd sort of been promoted, and then he came back under Glenn Roeder, so two very different. So it'd be interesting to see his views then. But more importantly, more pressing matters are the internationals. We are currently obviously in the international break. How's everyone enjoying it so far? Exciting, isn't it? Exciting times. Anyway, what I thought I would do is go through and just give you a bit of information about who's playing who, which players are out, which players aren't going, that type of thing, because, you know, it's important. It's important, isn't it? Important to see. So, if we crack on, let's crack on. Let's there's some lovely flags there. So we've got up to, I believe, 11. We've got 11 current first team players at international duty over the next 2 weeks, and this is how they all line up. There we go. They all look happy. We've got Jarrod Bowen and Declan Rice representing England. Jarrod, who made his international debut last June, will again be part of Southgate's England squad and feature alongside our skipper Declan Rice. We've also got Lucas Paqueta, who hope to add his 33 caps for Brazil, with fellow signing Maxwell Cornet also being called up to the Ivory Coast squad. We've got the Czech boys, Soufal and Souček are set to play for the Czech Republic. Mikel Antonio is back in action for Jamaica. Gianluca Scamacca and Emerson Palmieri in the Italian squad. Tilo Kehrer and Alphonse Areola are in the German and French squads respectively, and are all set to play in the Nations League over the next week and a half now. Obviously, we had Scotland kicked off yesterday, and also we had a few of the youngsters as well, which we'll go through as well. So what I thought I would do is just give you a rundown, really, of when they're playing, all that interesting stuff. So let's start with Alphonse Areola. He's playing tonight as Areola's France host Austria at the Stade de France in the Nations League. As it stands, France are winless in Group A. A1 picking up just 2 points from their first 4 fixtures, and Didier Deschamps' men will hope to record their first win against an Austrian side, which will feature former Hammer Marko Arnautovic, who's I think he's still currently top of the Serie A's goal scoring charts, I believe. Before France go on to face Denmark 3 days later, so it's sort of the weekend. We've got 4 Hammers coming up against each other on Friday, as England face Italy. with potentially Rice, Bowen, Schumacher, and Palmer and Emerson all in action. Right now, England obviously are currently winless as well, 2 points from their first 4 fixtures. Italy sit third in the Nations League, although they lost 5-2 to Germany in their last outing. Germany are the only undefeated side in the Nations Group A, and they're going to hopefully topple group leaders Hungary at Leipzig on Friday the 23rd, and keep an eye on Hammer's headlines, because there's an interesting thing around that. Artel's already mentioned it in the chat. There is a COVID outbreak in the German squad, so we'll talk about that in a bit more detail at 5 o'clock. 2 of the German team, Manuel Neuer and Linus Goretzka, are basically I've been basically come down with COVID, so hopefully not a problem issue. Although there isn't any sort of protocols in terms of isolation now in COVID in the UK, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to go through the chat in a tick. What else we got then? Then we have coming up later on, Germany. They'll play Hungary, and then Italy will travel to Hungary for the last group stage, whereas we're going to be playing Germany. Is that right? Yeah. So we go. Yeah, on Monday, the 26th of September, is England versus Germany at Wembley. So that'll be interesting. Elsewhere, the Czech boys, the Italian boys will be travelling to Hungary for their final match next week as well. Elsewhere, the Czech boys, they're at home to Portugal on Saturday, having fallen to a 2-0 defeat in their last meeting between the two sides. They travelled to St Gallen to take on Switzerland as well, who currently sit at the foot of Group A2. Elsewhere, we've got Lucas Paqueta. What's actually really cool about the Brazilian team this sort of international break is their base is going to be in France. So rather than traveling to Brazil, a lot of their squad are based in the UK. Really, a lot of them are in England in the Premier League. So they've actually moved their base to France, which is great. So they've got fixtures with Ghana on Friday in Le Havre, and then Tunisia in Paris 4 days later, which would be a good game. Also in France, we've got the Ivory Coast. They've moved their base to France. So we've got the Ivory Coast face Togo on Saturday and Guinea on Tuesday. And last but not least, Mr. Michail Antonio will also be in action for Jamaica in their sole match of the international window against Argentina on Tuesday, with a friendly being played in New Jersey in the States. So their base is in the States. Elsewhere, we've got a raft of youngsters playing. We've got Connor Coventry and Mipo Odebeku playing for the under-23s, 21s in Northern Ireland. We've got Hegi playing U team for Hungary. Divin, I can never pronounce it. Divin, you know, that guy. He's playing for the under-19s, under-17s. And then we've got a raft of Northern Ireland players. In fact, they played last night, the under-19s. I think Patrick Kelly scored both goals in a 2-2 draw with Slovenia under-19s yesterday, and Josh Briggs is also playing as well. So loads of boys playing, you know, first teamers and the junior squads as well. So it's going to be interesting. Plus the news, obviously, of Mark Noble becoming the sporting director. It's all go. Afternoon, Ralph. Hope you're well. Artel's in. What exactly does Nobes' job entail? So Nobes will be sporting director come the 2nd of January next year. So the sporting director oversees. The best thing I suggest people to do is go and watch All or Nothing, the Arsenal edition, and see, and Edu is the sporting director for Arsenal, and see the role he plays. So he's involved in contract negotiations with players, he's involved with recruitment, he's involved with the day-to-day team management, he's also involved with the academy, the playing staff, the coaching staff, the club staff. It's all encompassing. The way I've likened it to is basically, I'm trying to see if I can share this screen. Let me see if I can share it. This is how I see it being played. If I can present and I can share my screen, I can show you. enter full screen. There we go. Now, let me show you. So this is basically how I see. This is not exhaustive at all, but basically you see here you've got the team. You've got the team there. You've got the board. We've got recruitment. I've put the fan base in there as well. Academy. You've also got staffing, and Mark is in here. So basically, he's in the middle of everything, which personally I think it's a great thing. I think eventually I'd see him moving into that role, but maybe a bit sooner sooner than I thought. But as we've read, if you read the article, if you read the full announcement, he has been completing his sort of sports management course with Harvard Business School since retiring, so he's been a busy bee, so it's all good. How many international injuries do you think predicts? Yes, well, hopefully we don't get the COVID bug from the German camp, but we'll see. Sweeping up and making a tee. He probably will do. Hopefully Bowen gets injured because he's out of form. Nice to Scamacca called up. He'll get more minutes for Italy than strikerless West Ham, indeed. You are a cheerful soul. Peter is always a cheerful soul. Afraid, yeah, indeed, as we said, 5 o'clock, we'll talk about that tonight. Got to have a sense of, mate, we're West Ham fans. We've always got to have a sense of humour, mate. Alan, good evening to you. We are playing Italy. We are Italy and Germany. Moyes is same as Southgate, tactically inept. I hope Moyes watches the England-Italy game and sees how he plays for Italy. It might help figure out how to integrate him into the team. That's Kira out there. Well, they were doing. I mean, Sky Sports sort of broke the news a little while ago, and there was footage of Neuer running about, and he's a goalkeeper, and Leon Goretzka's the midfielder, so they're sort of running about and interacting with the players. So we shall see. Am I the only one who thinks that Rice has been rubbish for ages? See, everyone seems to blame the players around him, but I don't see why he gets immunity from criticism every single time. I don't think he does, Gary, but I know what you mean. He hasn't been on his A game for. But I think it's difficult when the players are around you. No one's been on their A game, really. In the bottom three, and all these players are in. That's nuts. It is Mandy. 11 players. That's trouble. You buy quality in. Hammers Head, as I said, we'll talk about Kira and the German camp COVID outbreak. We'll talk about Ben Johnson and contract negotiations stalling. And also we talk about the first rumour of January transfer window. Unbelievable, Jeff. And we're not even finished September yet. Bowen should have never got called up to England. Sancho should have been called up instead. I made that comment. I can see both sides of the argument. In that, with Sancho, with Bowen there, he knows it's his space to lose, really. So it might kick him up the arse a little bit. You don't know. If Kira goes missing, God help the Irons defence. Indeed, is Kira our best centre back, and why? He is. I think he's our best. I would suggest he's been our best signing of the summer. Not just in terms of game time, but influence on the team. Everyone else hasn't played as many games as he has, obviously. Patrick Kelly exactly 2 goals in. Any chance of Jamaica moving their game to France? Playing for Jamaica last year. Game going to shit. Well, no is the answer. They're playing in New Jersey, but they're only playing one game, playing on Tuesday. So he'll be back Tuesday night. He'll be back, say, he'll fly back Wednesday. Probably training maybe jet lag Thursday, Friday. So yeah, he'll be back Thursday, Friday. So Antonio has the furthest away to travel. Yes, he does. That will mean we'll play versus rules, I reckon, possibly. Gerd will be our best centre back. I totally agree. Nobody's job is to come back and give Rice confidence. I think nobody's job is to just if there's no. I mean, the way it works is you've got you've got the team, the manager, the board, and nobody's coming in at sort of that level between the manager and the board. But I think he's going to be doing this all the time. And I think that's not a bad thing. It's a lot of responsibility for someone like Declan Rice to take on board, as well as trying to perform as well. In terms of his role is going to involve, as I said, playing recruitment, integrating players into the team, and as I said, please go and watch that. I mean, I quite enjoyed that All or Nothing one with Arsenal. And I thought it was really interesting how integral Edu was. Obviously former Arsenal player as well, and you just see how he interacts with the players, the board, the manager, and that's obviously where Nobes is going to come in. I wonder what Moyes tinkers by benching Emerson, a World Cup winner and Euro winner over disaster. Cressy, Arsenal have been the same since David Dean left. Very true, but I think he's trying to get... They seem to be improving, unfortunately. Can Noble team talks before matches and at half-time? Well, I think Edu does. If I remember seeing that, he was sort of walking around. It's going to be interesting to see that dynamic as well. Because as I said to Anton this afternoon, so this morning, you get that when players become like player managers. And you have to differentiate you being a teammate to you being the boss, really. And so, I mean, you know, we've been crying out for having some sort of West Hamness in sort of the upper echelons. And we have that now. We have someone who's West Ham through and through. He's a fan. 26 years service, I think he said, playing from youth team onwards. And as I showed in my little mock-up diagram, he's going to be integral to everything. So he's going to keep that West Hamness going, which is something we've lost. So I'm really proud. I'm really happy he's in. As I think I thought he would have been a little bit later on, maybe 18 months down the line. But it seems, based on the discussions, based on the what was coming out of the club in terms of the announcement, it does seem to be he's going to be learning into the role. So there we go. Fair enough. Cress is better defensive than Emerson. Yeah. I think maybe you're right there, mate. I think you may be right. What else we got here? Bowen and Cornet. This is why we can't score. Thanks. You're more than welcome. Had a few drinks before the Everton game with Yamas. Good on you, Paul. Yes, they're better sitting in relegation. Explain that. We can't. Thank you, Gary. He's a sideways merchant. Please accept a bid from ASAP. If we sat Moyes, please be Gary O'Neill. Good old Gary O'Neill. God bless him. Harvey Seufeld builds some confidence in the international break. We can hope so. He did that role last season pretty much as a player, referring to... Yep, he did. And now it's... And to be honest, by... Not necessarily reading between the lines, but looking at every time we sign a new player, whether it's a kid or whatever, Mark's involved, Mark's in the picture. So I think he's been doing this role pretty much without official titles since he's probably left, to be honest. He's had a bit of time off. He played the pro-am, didn't he, with Billy Horschel. And he's had some, but I don't think he hasn't been away, let's be honest. Funny thing is, won't play any players that Mo brings in. Suchek cannot pass the ball. That is not a confidence problem. Rice is not a sideways merchant. He's our best long passer. He's the best long passing stats in the league this season. Stay off the out in the afternoon. Unbelievable. It's all kicking off. As I said, tonight, keep an eye out on the channel. 9 o'clock, hopefully. If all goes well, we have got Deadly Don Hutchinson coming on and doing a Miami's 11. So he'll be answering your questions live as well, and we might have a couple of prizes for the best questions, as judged by Mr. Hutchinson. So check that out. I think that's going to be really fun. I'm going to really enjoy that. Obviously, also today we put out Holly's very, very quick tweet all about it. She recorded it before she went on a hen do, so check that out. And also we had as I said, about 10:30 we did a quick piece, me and Anton, and Luke came on as well to join us to talk about Mark Noble, our brand new sporting director. But as I said, with all the international stuff that's coming on, it's rarely quiet with West Ham. Let's be honest, it's rarely quiet when it comes to West Ham, and even more so. So if you are new around here, give it a like, give it a comment, hit the thumbs up if you're excited about Mark Noble being the sporting director. It was quite funny listening to Luke. Luke made a really good point, saying he's excited, but don't he's not the Messiah. He's just a naughty boy, that type of thing. We shouldn't be in this position that we have to announce. The timing to me is an interesting thing. It's like, I personally, I don't know. I would have probably, if we were top of the league, would we have announced this today? I don't think we would. I think this was always the succession plan, and maybe halfway through the year, or maybe it was going to be announced beginning of next year. To announce it now and say it doesn't start till January. Do you know what I mean? Bit weird. I think our league position and our form, and just the general, not discontent, but Debbie Downers amongst the fan base, I think this announcement was quite well timed in that respect. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As I said, I think it's a great role, and I think I'm really looking forward to it. But also, I'm looking forward to seeing all our players come back without anyone getting injured. As I said, we've got a lot of players, 11 first teamers. 11 first teamers are currently on international duty, not including obviously the boys and the kids as well. So, and a lot of them are playing each other. So obviously England are playing Italy, so that could be 4 West Ham players potentially in the 22. That's not bad, is it? A fifth, just under a fifth of the players. And then we could be playing Tito Kehrer if the German squad all come back without any issues with their COVID outbreak. So we'll see. What we got here? Moyes can reproduce teams. Everton can reproduce teams as an Everton fan. He did that. He did need time at 11 seasons. You're totally right. I haven't got a problem with I know some people are a bit not nervous, the wrong word, but I think actually this will benefit David Moyes, this appointment, without a shadow of doubt. I can just really see it really helping him, which he needs a bit of help. Nothing wrong with that, I don't think. Nothing wrong with that at all. But for me, I think with David Moyes, I just think he needs that, and I think he's lost that. He said with Mark Noble leaving, with Stuart Pearce leaving, with Alan Irvine leaving, I think and with 8 players coming in, there wasn't enough continuity. So this transition period we're talking about is taking a bit longer than we thought. So I think having someone like Noble coming in, be honest, a job for life, really. I don't think it's a bad thing. Chris Green can't pass the ball. Get Big Sam back with Dave Bassett as his assistant. Good old fashioned football kick and rush. 4-4 effing 2. Everyone's talking about thing. I tuned in for Bert and Ernie. Nice show as always. Thank you very much, Darren. Yes, so we have Budgie and Kieran doing the first of a weekly show, Gift of the Gab, with Bert and Ernie, where they come on and just talk, cut the subjects, but they sort of keep it quite an open brief. And that's the whole idea of what we always do at Network. It's a network. It's not just me and Anton front it, so to speak, but it is Matt, it is Harry, it's Holly, it's Bert and Ernie, it's Irish Tommy, we've got some other, it's Luke, it's Rich, it's Dan, there's so many players, it's Seth, there's so many of us who can come in and come out, so there's loads of different opinions and different views, and you can pick and choose. You might not like everything, but you don't like everything on BBC One, but you watch BBC One. That's basically the principle, is to give something for everyone. Holly's shows are very different from Stato's shows, for example, so that's what we're trying to do, is give you guys enough diversity in content. So hopefully you enjoy it. It's our sort of vision is to do that, just to give it's a network of people. Moyes has hoarding tendencies, buys new things, but has a hard time making things change. Do you think at his house he has like loads of plastic bags and old newspapers? We trust David Moyes, our most successful manager for over 20 years. Totally agree, Pete. Totally agree. I'm not blinded by anything, Chris. He's been below his normal exceptional level, but far from poor. Still one of our best players. If you talk about Declan Rice, I totally agree. He's still our best player, but his levels have dropped, and same as everyone else's levels have dropped. He's still probably head and shoulders above everyone else. But where he was playing constantly an 8 or a 9 a game, now he's playing a 6 and a 7, I think. And, where Bowen's was playing an 8, now he's playing a 6 or a 5, and it's literally everyone's sort of gone down sort of quite incremental levels. But yeah, no, I think it's fair enough. If the board is smart, sell while people still have no clue. Fair enough. I don't know what you're talking about, but I think you're talking about Declan Rice. Okay. Fair play. We need to sell him to Chelsea for 100 million before they start noticing. No. You're all right, Gary, with that, mate. I think you're all right with that, mate, to be honest. As I said, we've got loads of stuff coming. We've got, as I said, hopefully got Don Hutchinson coming on tonight. I'm looking forward to that. Be interesting to see. You can chat to him about his time at West Ham. Obviously, a boomerang player. 2 very, very different eras he played in. He actually played with Mark Noble, actually, in one game, I believe, which was the 1-0 defeat to Chelsea in 2004 in the League Cup. He came on as a sub and Mark came on as a sub. So he has shared the pitch with Mark Noble. So maybe we'll ask him a little bit about that. But he played over 100 times for West Ham, Don Hutchinson. 110 times, I believe, 18 goals in 2 periods as well. And we're going to be doing something about boomerang players probably tomorrow as a sort of after, so to speak, to talking about Deadly Don tonight. So it could be really interesting. As I said, 2 really interesting periods under obviously Glenn Rodey's second period, but his first period is that early sort of 94, 95. I think he played 2 seasons then, and he came back and played near or thereabouts 4 seasons, although one season I think he was at 02-03, I think he was out injured. So different managers, different times, different players. You know, I was looking at some of the players he's played with, and you know, it was too many, because obviously he's played with 2, in essence, 2 different squads. So there's a lot of different players he's played with. It's going to be very, very interesting. As I said, the proper England, I think England kicks off tomorrow, so we'll bring you all the latest information. There'll be no, obviously, press conferences or anything, because we haven't got any press conferences, but tomorrow we'll be doing some stuff around boomerang players, about, you know, I might put 11 together of players who have played for the club twice, officially, not like come back for a testimonial, but actually played out Don Hutchinson, for example. There'll be plenty more as well, so make sure you check that out. Next week, we've got another X-Hammer lined up. The following week, then we start the sort of, after next week, after sort of the sort of Friday onwards, next week it's the run down to Wolves and then all the crazy games we've got coming up. And actually the following week, we've got a really nice celebrity fan coming on the channel as well. So we try and bring like one sort of different interview each week, and we've got them lined up for the next 3 weeks, hopefully at least, and a few more on top of that as well. So loads to come. As I said, there's not really much more to talk about. As I said, we spoke at Mark Noble about at 11 o'clock at 10:30, so check that out. We've got Hammers headlines at about 4:30, talking about Tilo, talking about Ben Johnson, talking about, is it our first rumour of the January transfer window? It could well be the first one. I'm going to have to start a new sheet, aren't I? But yeah, there's a new one, so keep an eye out for that. It's going to be quite fun. And as I said, if you're new around here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe. We'll also have tonight for the Don Hutchinson interview, we'll have a couple of prizes for the best questions. So you've got a few hours to come up with some good questions, and we can whack them on. All right then, peeps. As I said, short and sweet. I just wanted to let you know what's happening with the international break. Let you know what players are doing what, where they're going, who they're playing against. Hopefully we come back with everyone fit. Hopefully. And as I said, based on that, Antonio's the furthest one away, which is nice for a change. What we got here? Sorry, there's loads of, oh wow, okay. Loads of things. Burton, Budging did a great job. I love the Burton early show. They pinpointed all the problems to the T. There we go, you see. So they bring a different perspective. Dave, long time no see. Antonio's a weird one. He went to Jamaica on form. He came back not scoring. Hopefully it's the other way around. Let's hope so. Who would you prefer to replace Moyes? Pochettino, Tuchel, or Dyche? They all have their pluses and minuses. I mean, Tuchel to me hasn't really had I think was a bit hard done by. Really, Poch lost the dressing room, and Dyche, I think he's just like a slightly modern Sam Allardyce, isn't he? I like him. I like his voice more than anything. Holly's a good addition. Thank you, Pete. She's great. It's funny. I was saying yesterday that we need Nobles at the club on Hammers Chat, and there we go. Maybe he's watching. Maybe Poch is available and says he's waiting for a Premier League offer. Levels drop, price tags drop. He'll leave at the end of the season for about 75 million, says Matt. Warburton in, Irvine out, Stuart Pearce out. 8-9 recruits. This all within a few months must cause disruption. Indeed, Peter, and I think that's why Nobe's coming back in, albeit in January, is a useful one. How many boomerang players? I've got an 11 with a couple of subs. I've got 11 with a couple of subs. So there we go. Just finished watching it. Yep, thank you very much. Too early. Is it ever too early for transfer rumours? Morning on 6 a.m. This is the most depth we've had since I became a fan in the mid-90s. You're totally right, Scott. Maybe we'll look at, maybe next week we'll look at the squad in depth and look at positions. And I think, when everyone's fit, we've got a hell of a squad, I think, now. Someone put up the game against Silkeborg squad and the game against Eintracht Frankfurt, and it's just the depth of the bench, and it's something which we've always missed out on, and we seem to get that now. So Poch will go to Nice. That's nice. If, and that's only if, Moyes is sacked, then Postecoglou from Celtic plays good attacking football. There we go, Alan. There we go. As I said, we'll be back 4:30, 5 o'clock-ish tonight with the Hammers headlines. We'll also be back 9 o'clock tonight with Daddy Don Hutchinson, hopefully, doing a My Hammers 11. Get your questions in nice and early. As I said, a couple of prizes we're giving out for the best questions. Best questions. And that's it, my friends. So take care, everyone. Stay safe, stay warm, stay healthy. Yeah, stay warm. It's got nippy. It's got nippy in Hornchurch. And until next time, my friends, I'll leave you with his lovely image. Look at that image. He's back, he? Guess who's back? Back again. I am finishing. Mate. I am. Thumbs up, people. Indeed. Put in late, but still I could listen. Thanks. No worries at all, man. Thank you very, very much. Yes, we have lots of depth on the bench. It's on the bench. It is. Yeah, it stays on the bench. That's the trouble. And so take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. And as always, if you want to be a channel member, please consider becoming a channel member or a subscriber. All that good stuff. You made aware of any time we put new content on. As always, we'll be doing our members get invited to our monthly draws for memorabilia and stuff like that as well. So, as I said, bye. Hopefully, see you tonight at about 9 o'clock. Much love. Bye.
It's like a family tree, part of you and part of me. And if we should separate,